This episode of the American Marketing Association's Marketing and Podcast is brought to you by 24Notion. 24Notion is a full-service global creative marketing, digital, technology, PR, and lifestyle agency that combines strategic ideas with customized tactical execution. With a broad understanding of the art of traditional marketing, new media, public relations, communications, and social influence, 24Notion uniquely understands how to connect your brand strategy with the right consumer. 24Notion is proud to support the AMA's community of marketers, strategists, and creatives by helping professionals understand the ever-changing marketing landscape with tools and insights that deliver results. Learn more about how 24Notion is driving innovation at 24notion.tv.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for this special episode of AMA's Marketing In. I'm your host, AMA CEO, Benny F. Johnson. In today's episode, we'll explore life through a marketing lens, delving into conversations with individuals that flourish at this intersection of marketing and the unexpected. We'll introduce you to visionaries whose stories you might not yet have heard of, but are exactly the ones you need to know. Through our thought-provoking conversations, we'll unravel the challenges, triumphs, and pivotal moments that have been shaped by marketing. Today, our very special guest is none other than the force of nature, Ivo Lucas. Ivo is an entrepreneur, an angel investor, and CEO and founder of 24Notion. 24Notion is a dynamic, integrated marketing and digital PR and lifestyle agency with a special emphasis on giving back to global communities. With a broad understanding of the art of non-traditional marketing, new media, communications, and social influence, Ivo has a wealth of experience in building and maintaining brands for Fortune 5 and 1,000 companies. Before the creation of 24Notion, Ivo led global initiatives that expanded beyond Asia Pacific, European, Latin American, and North American markets. As a leader in entrepreneurship and empowerment, she's an advocate and sits on boards for several organizations that encourage this empowerment of the next generation of leaders, especially women in technology and STEM. Ivo is passionate about leading, nurturing, and mentoring the next generation. My friend, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Benny. Thank you for having me, and thank you for AMA for having me.
It's so just an honor to have you here. And to start off our conversation, one of the things that just struck me is you immediately said, if we take nothing away from our conversation, let's inspire the next generation. That's like a wonderful way to end, but it's an incredible way to start.
Yes.
So when did you become so passionate about thinking about what's next?
Oh, Benny, that's probably, do we have like 3 hours here? I'm just kidding. No, I think I just have passion of helping. That's kind of how it started. Starting off, I work, obviously move up the ladder pretty quickly at the young age, working through it. But I knew that there's always along the way, there's something else that I really want to do more. So it's kind of like the purpose. You kind of have to realize that I'm so passionate of what I do. Believe it or not, I love what I do, Benny. This is kind of what's crazy. People ask me like, oh, this is great. How do you do it? I'm like, I just love what I do. I wake up every morning. I get to be creative. I get to speak with amazing customers, client, partners, team. I mean, you name it. It's always great to kind of help the others, right? So I think ever since I was young, I just loved the idea of helping people, Supporting the next generation is like key as well, because I think that I started from a very humble beginning. And I think I knew how hard it is to get to where you are, Benny. You kind of have to grind it. And I think that's kind of has been embedded with me within the very get-go,
Take us back to your beginning. Take us back to your origin story.
Oh, man. I think, I move up the ladder pretty quickly. I'll give you a short answer first, right? Before I started my own agency, I was working with this. Obviously, I move up in a ladder pretty quickly, but I also work in a company or agency that is a little bit different, right? So I'm a pretty curious child. I was in a dot-com era at one point. I was also in telecommunication, you name it. Those are the key. I was also moved to third largest home shopping network. I think that was kind of the big as well for me to learn how to create and innovate at that time. how do you buy products through e-commerce and then
Right.
creating the TV, digital version of it. I think those are the key things that I did. And then last but not least, before I kind of start my own agency, I was recruited to work with one of the third private largest PR agency, obviously. And then one of those customer that they have is Microsoft. Microsoft is their
Mm-hmm.
big, clientele. And I was supposed to build their, and I did, I built an entire digital marketing within their umbrella. So essentially we expanded across, APAC, LATAM, EMEA, and also United States. So I
Mm-hmm.
bridged that creative and marketing basically into that as well. So that was kind of the big thing. But as you know, I work so hard and you work, I mean,
Right.
you're grinding it, Benny. It's like when you work at the corporate or agencies, like nonstop, 24/7,
Right.
18 hours and things like that. And that was kind of the big thing. But throughout this whole journey that I had, I always wonder, I said, when the corporation makes money, how come you're not giving back? That was like the big thing in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at this telecommunication company, I remember they were asking like, hey, if you want to give back to, X, Y, and Z, you could take a percentage off from your salary. And then we're like, wait, I'm already like not making money, Betty, at that
Right.
time.
Right.
You're grinding it. I'm like, why am I taking money out of my salary where I'm already not doing a lot of money? So one thing that I realized in the back of my mind is as I move up the ladder, the bigger the company is, the less they're giving back.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things for me. I'm like, wow, there has to be something here to give back, right? So anyway, fast forward, I was in that pivotal moment. I realized that I was working so hard. I have to focus on my health. That was kind of the big thing.
Right.
I was in that crossroad. When you work 18, 20 hours a day, your
Right.
body just took a toll on it. So I ended up leaving that job and realizing I have to get better, right? And get
Right.
better and healthier.
Isn't it amazing when you realize that your body has a veto vote?
Yep, exactly. And then it
It does.
just tapped out, it just literally, I mean, there's only so much you could do. And you're like, there has to be something more. So in the middle of a night, I literally just wrote down like a few things that I want to do, some attributes. And the next morning I saw that attribute. There's so many of them. There's 24 of them. There's an attribute, kindness, purpose, you name it, all this stuff that I
Right.
have to do. And I realized it's like, I want to do some sort of a marketing, integrated marketing, but it's also with the emphasis of giving back. So that's basically what basically formed it and started it. And the funny thing, Benny, like I started to write a business plan, a pager, and brought it to all investor. I mean, I must have met and chat with over a dozen investor out there, mentor. Each one of them, Benny, told me that this is going to fail. Like each
wow.
one of them, literally, like they're like, Ivo, this isn't going to work. What is this integrated marketing all about? What is this modern marketing? And then on top of them, you're going to give back. You're crazy. It's never going to work, So a lot of them actually, the naysayer, like, oh, you're going to tap out by 5 years, 2 years, you're going to fold. It's a lot of those basically came back. I was bawling in the closet, crying so much. I was like, oh my gosh, my life is over. But no, I'm a risk taker. So basically, I told everybody not to do this, but I kind of tapped into my 401k and went all in. And that was literally over a decade ago, Benny.
Oh, wow.
We were profitable. We were, we're amazing. A lot of those people came back to us. It's like, hey, do you want, us investing? I'm like, we don't need any more. We're like, I'm just going to bootstrap the agency. And that's kind of where we are. Yep. Exactly.
Describe that feeling, right? We always talk about when we come and we have the dream and we share it, and not everybody can see it, not everybody can feel it, not everybody can believe in it like you do. Describe that feeling though when it comes back full circle, and you're, like you said, you're living in the purpose and the business plan is on fire.
Yep.
It's like, I'll invest in you now.
Yeah. Well, it's great because it was kind of like you get the sense of like credibility, right? Because it was such a blessing already. You're like, you work so hard to get where you are. And it's never gonna be enough, right? Because you're like, oh, you gotta do more, you gotta do faster. But I think what I realized why I bootstrapped it, Benny, because I'm able to kind of control it in a sense of how I want to grow the agency to.
Right.
Because if I would have taken some of this investor investment, I don't think it would just be going back to where I was before. 20
Right.
hours a week, panic attack, and then like having a health issue. That was kind of the
Right.
big thing for me because I'm a pretty ambitious kid as well.
Right.
So I think the feeling was just amazing. The feeling that just knowing that you got the credibility that you're able to kind of make it and also able to support, right? That was the big thing for me. It's like at the end of the day, whatever the agency is doing, I want to make sure that I'm empowered the next generation.
Right.
There's so many kids out there that needed some sort of just a door opener, Benny. That was kind of why we're so big about giving back, but not so much of just specific, education or whatnot. We focus a lot of underprivileged kids. We focus a lot on girls, on STEM or STEAM, and just opening up the door. I think those are the key for us.
Right. It's so true. I'm going to ask this bit of a question because in your bio, you first describe yourself as an entrepreneur, one, but then as an angel investor, number two. How did your experience going through this investor loop inform the way you think about investing in others?
Yep. I think that all happened because no one invested in me, Benny.
Right.
When I started the agency, I was like literally. So I was speaking. I mean, this is kind of full circle. I would say about 8 to 9 years ago, I was speaking at this. It's like a pop talk. It's like a keynote or whatnot. When it's done, one of these lady approached me and they're like, "Hey, listen, I really love what you said. Is there a way for us to grab coffee?" But anyway, make a long story short, we had coffee and I didn't realize she's actually starting up something sweet actually for her business venture. Little did I know, I started to just kind of invest in her in a sense of like being a mentor. I think that's the big thing for her. And then slowly from that portion, I didn't realize that I was investing in her, mentoring in her. When she did her startup, I was kind of helping her kind of launch her venture basically. And then a lot of these nonprofit also came to us suddenly like, "Hey, is there a way for you to help us with marketing?" We're like, "You don't need to pay. I mean, like you're a nonprofit. This is like the key for you to make your money." The thing is, we could just help you out. So that all started is basically wildfire, Benny. Like we were giving back to those, girls in technology, some of those girls in engagement as well, Girls Inc. and whatnot. And they wanted some support from us. So we give a little bit of both. Sometimes we give monetary. Sometimes they say they came back to us, they're like, "We don't want your money, but we just want your help for marketing support."
Right.
So that's all kind of ripple effects. And then I realized that, wow, there's so much opportunity for us to share in terms of, giving back and supporting that, that next generation. And the next thing you know, I was asked to be part of the board this, and then people just come, like, "Hey, is there a way for you to be a judge at this? We're doing a competition program and awards." That kind of just went from like zero. The next thing you know, building that community, supporting community, and helping the education and the next generation as well.
It's amazing when you see the benefits of this positive gravity. Right? You see this compelling force that you're talking about. As you get excited about helping one, it turns into helping many, it turns into helping community. When you talk to clients now, I can't help but imagine that this comes through. Like that there's something a bit more to the work. Working with 24 Notions, a bit different. Give me your pitch. How do you share that with clients that this is going to be a different journey?
Yep. Well, I think that the majority of our client cares. We try really hard to educate them without educating them in a sense like, "Hey, here's who we are and what we do."
Right.
We don't really want to emphasize and then put that pressure on them, right, to use us. So as an agency, we're always big in performance, Benny. At the end of the day, we need to perform for our client. If they're not getting the KPI, then we're failing, right? That's the key.
Right.
When we tell our client from the very beginning, when we did like, let's say RFP or whatnot, way back when, is we just let them know, we're like, "Hey, we're an integrated marketing agency, but with an emphasis of giving back." So when you work with us, obviously a percentage of those goes to this specific category. the door is always open. So every quarter or every year, we always change, right? Sometimes we change on education. Sometimes we change on like, specific on technology or on
Right.
girls, in technology, things of that nature. So a lot of those, they know that they're kind of doing goods, on the
Right.
side. But
Right.
oftentimes when it comes to business, they're always focused on business. How do my dollar stretch?
Right.
How do I
Right.
get my return ROI? So we just tell it as it is. We just tell them we're in integrated marketing, and then we emphasize on here's the list that we usually give back. And just so you know, those are the big thing for us. It's important for
Right.
us to do that. Yeah.
Now, I find it interesting that when you talk about creating 24 Notion about a decade ago, you had to explain what an integrated marketing and PR agency
Yes.
was. That
So,
that's not so much your challenge today, but how have you seen the work evolve over the last decade?
man, it was changing, Benny. It was kind of, I would say, it's tough at the beginning because they don't
Mm-hmm.
really understand, right? They're like,
Right.
what is that? So the great thing, I kind of have a good accolades kind of moving up that ladder. I work with Microsoft. I work with a lot of Fortune 500. So a lot of these people that comes back to us, it become like a referral program,
Right. Right.
So we work with one company and the company is like, wow, you guys did a great job. And that's the reason what's so big about us is like relationship building. We're
Mm-hmm.
so good about like making sure that our customer comes first, our client come
Right.
first. And then essentially we show them by, the ROI, the KPI, the performance is always key, So the evolvement is usually when we call of integrated marketing, oftentimes we look at the problem that they want to solve. So
Right.
oftentimes they would come to us, they're like, hey, we have this issue with X, Y, and Z. We want to build a lead gen. We want to build a demand gen. How do we even go about doing that? So we show them by
Mm-hmm.
showing them essentially you creating this gap or what we call the bridging the gap from what it means for integrated marketing. So those are the key.
Well, we talk about kind of bridging the gap. We've often said that the lines between advertising, marketing, and PR are completely blurred today
Yes.
in the space in there. One of the things that I've been excited about to hear you talk about is the role of CSR today. So, you started 10 years ago and said, this is going to be front and center for the work that we do.
Yes.
Right, in the space in there. And to see now, the awards that are coming in and the recognition for the work that you've done around corporate social responsibility. Talk about what that means to you today.
Yeah, that was really great, Benny. Like, it's so crazy. Like when we started like over a decade ago, we actually was nominated and awarded with, I don't even, you remember, there is this thing called Classy Awards. It's way back when.
Uh-huh.
So that award was like, again, an accolade where it kind of like, wow, we really did the right thing. So keep going. So basically we were shortlisted as integrated marketing agency with the emphasis of giving back. That was like the big thing for us, right? And it's so important from the corporate social responsibility. I guess it goes back to my humble beginning where I was telling you, it's like, how come the company are not giving more? The more you make, in my, presume,
Right.
Thought is they should give back more, right? Obviously, there's bottom line, there's expenses, operation, costs and things of that nature. I think for us, it's like, how do we make sure we educate our customer and the clients that we work with? So essentially, they know the importance of CSR,
Right.
So those are the things is also key for us. And I think we not only educating, but showing it to them as well. So we submitted it, a lot of those as well early, throughout the years. I mean, we try really hard to be on a background, Benny, but a lot of people say, hey, you should submit this for CSR because it's key. So we did that at the first like 6, 7, 8 years where we kept coming back to the Business Journal. They came back. Actually, there's a funny story, this whole thing. One day, this was like, we're already like 5 or 6 years throughout our agency.
Mm-hmm.
There was someone call us, and then somewhere along the line that day, I just happened to pick up the phone, and this guy was from, I think, a media newspaper. He's like, hey, listen, you guys like everywhere. You guys are like, growing wildfire. You guys like CSR. What about buying like 1-page ad at the newspaper? Remember this, Benny? It's like 1-page ad. Make you guys bigger because you want people, the whole world to know. Why don't you just buy an ad? And I can't remember the price tag he was giving us, right? And then I say, you know what? That's such a great idea to tell people about who we are about CSR and just kind of blast it out. But you know why we haven't done it? He was like, why? I said, well, because that dollar that you just told me, I could have feed more kids at the
Yep.
school. I could have given more meals. I could have shared to those an
Mm-hmm.
after school with the Girls and Boy Scout to learn more about what is the definition of learning how to code, for example. And then, I mean, I kid you not, I got this speechless like pause. So they're like, yeah, I
Right.
guess I can't ask you to pay for this, huh?
Oh my goodness.
So
Well,
anyway, make a long story short is I think that's pretty much our passion about showing. And oftentimes people didn't realize like, who are you guys? We haven't seen you guys because for us, it's so important for us to give back more
right.
to help the next generation succeed, Benny, more so than us getting to the next level.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about you getting to the next level as well, because in parallel, you're not only doing well by doing good, you're also delivering really great work. You were voted one of 2025's global top 10 agencies of the year.
I know. That's amazing, right? It's such humbling. So grateful about that.
So did you ever imagine that moment when, not the night you started 24 Notion, but that week before? Like that week before when you were staying up all night, you were stressed, work, life, and body are out of balance. Did you ever think that we'd be sitting here having a conversation of being one of the top 10 agencies of the year?
Man, no. I mean, I have a vision, right? You always have a vision, aspiration,
Right.
Benny. You're like, you want to be doing this, you want to do this. But sometime to get there, you're like, you tap out or you kind of hit,
Right.
he hit the top, right? No, I mean, we were just grateful because to be shortlisted on this one, Benny, we didn't even submit anything. It's basically the International Award Committee will have to choose you and shortlist you and then, let you win. So there's nothing that we did through submission or whatnot. It's just basically 100% them picking, their top 10 agencies for 2025. And then that was it. We're one of them. So definitely the answer is no, but we also know it's a blessing. We just know that this is something that we were given. So we were excited through our hard work. I feel like, again, that was the great credibility and such a blessing for us to have this. So excited and humbled and also grateful about it.
When you get a chance to talk to other agencies that are starting, one of the things you said to me just earlier was, now is the time. I'm paraphrasing, but you're like, now is the time to start a business.
Yep. Yes.
So you're kind of a living example of that. You are that meme in this moment, right? To start a business. What advice do you have to, in particular, young women interested in technology and starting a business? What encouragement do you have?
Oh man, you kind of have to work hard. I think that's one thing that I'll tell them. Like it's a hard road to go, Benny. There's not a day. I mean, you just can't give up, right? That's the whole point.
Right.
Like I think for the young women, especially if you're younger or you're just starting out, like be curious. I think it's the key, right? You got to be curious. You got to also know that you're going to have to work hard. And I think that those are the key things for you to learn as much as you could. Like I remember I was doing design, work before. And then the next thing you know, I was like, I need to build a website. I didn't know how to do it. And then I just learned HTML, Benny. Like not that I'm good at it, but I just go into like coding mode and self-taught myself. You know what I mean? I think the curiosity is key, right? For you.
Right.
So I was like, why am I waiting? Why am I paying so much money? Why don't I just learn how to code? So that's how it started, like how this whole digital thing with the HTML also for me to learn. I just learned how to code. Not that I'm good at it. And I realized that I'm not good at it. But other people are good at it.
That's half the battle, my friend.
Exactly, right? You could build something halfway and like, okay, I need someone else that is better, a developer to do this. So I think for the young women, I think for them is find someone that you look up to, be inspired. Mentorship is key. To me, Benny, is like the key. Find those people that you could surround yourself with, but also sometimes you could surround yourself with someone that is not like you, because that's how you learn things.
Right.
I remember like just literally when I started this, I mean, we were like, oh, we need to do this. I was like, well, how do I even find this out? So I just went out to somebody and asked them like, hey, listen, I need your help here. I don't know what
Right.
I'm doing, but just tell me more. So I've seen that. I encourage the young girls as well. I mean, whenever I give keynotes or speaking, there's always that one or two that would come to me. And the next thing you know,
Mhm.
I ended up mentoring them, and LinkedIn with them. Ask them question and ask them to go for a coffee. Just kind of surround yourself, I think is key. And I think if they're so passionate about their product or services, um, start bringing it, start doing it, just do it,
Right.
and then bring it to the market and then test it out. And if it's not doing good, and retest it out and make it as perfect as possible, and then push it out.
Excellent. Well, one of the things we talked a bit about, being an integrated marketing and PR agency, and digital PR agency. But what I find interesting is you've extended even further and you refer to yourself also as a lifestyle agency. When
Mhm.
did that evolution take place?
I think I knew that at one point it is going to be part of your lifestyle, because
Hmm.
in order for you to love your okay, let me go back a little bit, Ben. It's like, in order for you to love your job and do it
Right.
so well, you got to be passionate, right? It's part of your lifestyle.
Right.
So it's important for me to people to know that if you don't love your job, most likely it might not work out for you. Let me just say that.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's the number one thing. Like, you have to love what you do. And then, what are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And I think that become my lifestyle. I'm kind of the living testament of it. Like,
Uh-huh.
that is my lifestyle. I love my job. I love what
Right.
I do, and I'm really good at it. And then I love making our client and customer succeed. So I think that become my lifestyle with my passion and purpose. So I think those things and involvement as I grow the business,
Hmm.
and I was able to help the others as well, Benny, but also on top of them, just seeing their succeed, I think that brings joy for me. So that lifestyle is just part of who you are. So my thing is, if you're starting something out, you have to see it, right? Like, you have to see
Right.
it whether you want to do this or not. And
Right.
then you just do it for money. And I kid you not, there's so many people that come to me now. I got pitch all the time, Benny, where people say,
Right.
"Hey, listen, I want you to invest in my company." I'm like, "For what?" And they'll tell me. And then I ask one simple question, Benny, like, "Hey, what is your purpose for this?" He goes, "I want to make a ton of money." And I knew, like, I knew when that happened, I'm like, "Okay, guys, let me just reel it back up." Okay.
Right. Right. Let's bring it back in. So you told us what used to keep you up at night.
Yeah.
I'm curious now, what gets you up in the morning?
Oh, I think what gets me up in the morning is making a difference each day,
Hmm.
because my day is not the same every day. And
Right.
when I wake up, I know it's like, how can I make a difference today? I think that's the big thing for me, Benny.
How can I make a difference each day? Which is
Mhm.
really, really kind of a powerful space. It's that I'm a big believer in that, just incrementally better, right?
Yep.
What can we do
Absolutely.
just to make it a little better?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
we hope that all of our efforts add to it and more. Now, you've had a great experience. We've said you've worked with entrepreneurs, both large and small, beginning, and you've also worked with really big brands and small brands in there. In today's world, what advice do you have for big brands that you've learned from small brands and vice versa?
Okay. That's easy, actually. Actually, it could be complicated. I
Uh-huh.
think I think the startup world is so exciting, Benny.
Hmm.
I think that grinding it, you wear a lot of hats. You have to be
Right,
nimble. You have to go fast. I think those are the key. And what
right.
I see as we work with so many startups and also enterprise, when you hit that enterprise, sometimes it become a roadblock because you need to have 80 people to approve one thing,
Hmm.
Benny. Like,
Right,
it literally,
right,
I'm like, wait a minute, why does it take forever to get this approval where you could just launch it and go with it, you know?
right.
So I think for the enterprise level, it's like they have to go back to their roots, and then figure out there are certain things that you want to make sure that when you bring your product and services, it needs to be as perfect as possible. But I think get it out there to the market for them to chew on it, to test it out. I think those are key. Those are pretty much for the enterprise. And then also a risk taking, right? I think risk taking is really key for enterprise. A lot of time there's so much
Hmm.
red tapes because they're so large and they're
Right.
so big that they can't even move the needle. Those are kind of the thing. I think from a startup company, or from the startup entrepreneurship, I think the key for them is, you got to, again, like push the product and services to the market, get a
Right.
focus group, understanding what is the market looks like, because the market literally will tell you whether they want it or not. Do you remember? I don't know. You probably remember this, Benny. In the .com, there is this company called Webvan.
Okay.
Webvan
Yep.
was the whole grocery system. Basically, now it's kind of like DoorDash,
Right.
Amazon,
Right.
name it, grocery store, right? What they do is, I remember when the .com era kind of goes really big at that time. There's a company called Webvan. What they do is you could buy your grocery online, and then they'll drop it off in a crate, literally to your
Right.
door. But they tank within like 2 years or so, Benny. Is because I think the market is not ready. The customer are not ready yet. They don't
Right.
even know. They don't even know
Right.
what is the website. Lo and behold, e-commerce wasn't there. But look at Amazon right now. They're so big,
Right.
right? Because they're at the perfect time, at the perfect area, and they got bigger because of COVID. Like, where do you go?
Right.
Amazon,
Right.
So it's important for you when you have that startup mentality. It's like, it doesn't mean that, well, first of all, there's nothing new under the sun, right? It's like, when
Right.
you launch that product is like key. Webvan
Right.
would have worked so well in 2020, not
Right.
at 2002. You know what I mean? So I think those are the things that understanding your market, I think, is key. Understanding where the customer is for you to be able to push the product is key, I think, when you're a startup company.
It's so true. And we've talked about this with technology. Sometimes
Yep.
there's incredible technology that's a system leap ahead,
Right.
right? There's not critical mass yet. There's not the infrastructure
Yep.
or bandwidth yet. There's not the adoption yet of the platform. There's not the kind of generational shift.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like AI now. It's like, what do you use for AI? Everybody's like, AI, they're going to take over everyone's job. That's not entirely true. Like, the way we use AI is copywriting, copy editing. 10
Mhm.
out of 10, we write our content, Benny, and then we put them, let's say, on ChatGPT or, Deep AI. Our team and myself, we still have to edit those from the ChatGPT and Deep AI, where it's like 10 out of 10. So it's never going to be perfect, right? But that's the reason
Right.
why I think, how do you use it in terms of, the tools and systems?
So we just talked a bit about technology in a stereotypical cold sense technology. So we're going to do the stereotypical warm sense and talk community afterward. So how do you, as a technology leading entrepreneur, find community? How do you find that kind of human space?
I think it's everywhere, Benny. Like,
Okay.
they just have to look up from their phone, right? I'm just kidding.
Right.
Go out, like I was saying, like, hey, let's go to lunch, let's hang out. I think the community is key. I think it depends on what community you're looking for. I think for
Right.
us is, it's amazing. We have a good community, right? Like, our clients are all one community. That's amazing. The people that support us from the very get-go. And we
Right.
work with a lot of this company as well from the very beginning. And then some of them are still going 10 plus year.
Mm-hmm.
There is, for the younger generation, for example, or if you're in college and things of that nature, looking for that community, you just have to go out there and
Right.
immerse yourself into those community, I think, are keys, right? So if you're in
Right.
college, you're looking for, a startup community, go out in some of those universities. I think I'm sure they have a startup area or young adult or whatnot. And then I get to know them, and then just
Right.
kind of immerse yourself into those. I think those are key. For us, it's a little bit different because I think we built that network and community are so tight that essentially I think for us it's kind of more like giving back now rather than,
Right.
absorbing in.
Over the past 2 decades, you've had all of these successes that you've built upon, right? The successes of the corporate ladder. And I often think about it like we're in school. After first grade is second grade, after second grade is third grade, right? And we understand that. But then after you're out of school, the world has a different rhythm that goes along with it. You've been able to continue to have ladders of success. I have this question for you. Do you ever surprise yourself? Are there things now that happen that truly surprise you?
I think so, Benny. I mean, like, it's always surprised because I think for me, I take it more in a positive realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you fail, I mean, obviously, each person, like there's nothing is perfect. If you fail, you have to kind of be in that mode and get back up the very next day. It's okay to mopey around. It's okay to like, okay, I suck for one day, or I suck for 20 hours. I suck for like literally for a week. But like, how do you pivot? How do you actually go back and recourse? You might take the long way to get there, but you have to just do it, right? I think for me, surprises is kind of more like when I thought I reached a certain limit, I didn't realize that I have more. I could do more.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you didn't know that, Benny. Like it's you didn't know, oh, this is all I'm gonna do. I guess this is it. And then when you hit that portion, and sometimes it could be a failure along the way, and then boom, you hit that, right? And then you realize, wait, there's more to this that you could do, So I think that those are at all, even obviously I do surprises myself every single moment. It could be who you meet, what you do, things in that nature. But I also think that I count it as my blessings, each one of those milestones that I got. Because when you have that mindset of being grateful and thankful and a blessing, I think it creates more roadmap for you to go above and beyond.
Wow. I was going to ask you if you had any closing words, but that, my friend, was an awesome way to end our conversation.
Yeah.
When you're grateful, having that go beyond. I mean, it's really powerful to hear your story as an entrepreneur, as first a marketing leader and practitioner, and realizing that there's agency in doing your own agency. And then building that in and uncompromisingly thinking about the impact that you can have as a responsible corporation, as a responsible business leader. And I think we may have achieved our goal that we set off with, that if we're listening to this, like, I'm inspired. I hope that our listeners are inspired wherever they are in their career journey, that we can always surprise ourselves.
Yep. Thank you, Benny.
Thank you once again. And thank you for continuing to lead the way in the dynamic work you're doing with 24 Notion, and encouraging us and challenging us that we can do really well and do really good at the same time.
Great. Thank you for having me, Benny.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us for this really special episode of AMA's Marketing And. Once again, I'm your host, AMA CEO Benny Johnson, and we encourage you to check out both the work of 24 Notion and the American Marketing Association at ama.org. Thank you.
This episode of the American Marketing Association's Marketing And podcast is brought to you by 24 Notion. 24 Notion is a full-service global creative marketing, digital, technology, PR, and lifestyle agency that combines strategic ideas with customized tactical execution. With a broad understanding of the art of traditional marketing, new media, public relations, communications, and social influence, 24 Notion uniquely understands how to connect your brand strategy with the right consumer. 24 Notion is proud to support the AMA's community of marketers, strategists, and creatives by helping professionals understand the ever-changing marketing landscape with tools and insights that deliver results. Learn more about how 24 Notion is driving innovation at 24notion.tv.